and southbound through the Carpathia corridor in the construction zone. Remember to slow down and give folks some extra room as you make your way through this construction area. 55 and stay alive, all that good stuff. Our tip of the day was to check your driving lights and tail lights and make sure everything on your vehicle is working properly.
Donnie, thank you very much. It's 8:21. I'll see you in about 30 minutes.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Junior Brown taking this on. Okay, let's take a look at the Post Point Dispatch Board, medical emergency in Simi Valley, and that one's just now clearing. Santa Barbara and Cali Real, medic 12 en route for that. We're looking at a traffic collision at 6,000 block of San Marcos Pass Road. Everyone going up there, you're going to want to take an alternate route. That's going to be a while before they get that all cleaned up. Here's that they actually have a second one out towards the lake also, but it may be one and the same. Medical emergency in Camarillo on Carmen Drive. Medical emergency in Simi Valley on Terra. Medical emergency on Cali Real. That's just clearing up with medic 12. And looks like all the rest of them are good to go. We're cleared all of that. Looking at our 7-day forecast today, partly cloudy, 61 is the high. Tonight, mostly cloudy, lows 52. Friday, partly sunny, 62. Friday night, partly cloudy, then mostly clear and breezy at lows 50. Saturday, sunny and breezy, then sunny at 63. Saturday night, mostly clear and breezy, low 45. Saturday, sunny at 61. Sunday, we're looking at sunny and clear, and again, sunny at Monday. So, looking good. Okay, here's something right from the IRS. I'm not reading an article. I'm reading it right from their bulletin. It's 2021-59, dated March 17, 2021. Tax days for individuals extended to May 17th. Treasury IRS extended filing and payment deadline. This applies to all individual returns. Treasury Department and Internal Revenue Service announced yesterday that the federal income tax individuals for the tax year 2020 will be automatically extended from April 15, 2021 to May 17, 2021. Again, that's April 15 to May 17. The IRS will be providing formal guidance on within the coming days. Individual taxpayers can also postpone federal income tax.
I'm here and ready to receive you and the guests.
There's a difference here with the next paragraph. For the 2020 year tax year that's due on April 15th, and postpone it to May 17th without penalties or interest, regardless of the amount owed. This postponement applies to individual taxpayers, including individuals who pay self-employment tax. Penalties, interest, and additions to taxes will begin to occur on any remaining unpaid balance.
Message from Elizabeth Stewart. I'm on Zoom now.
Individual taxpayers will automatically avoid interest and penalties on any taxes paid by May 17th. Here's the caveat. This relief does not apply to estimated tax payments that are due.
Hello, hello.
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 Hi, Richard.
How are you?
Hanging in.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Are we having more than 4 guests?
Mr. Baldridge, who's connecting to audio, has another person with him.
Okay. But they're at the same location. Okay. Well, I can start anytime you want, Elizabeth.
Okay, so we're just waiting for the instructor.
Okay. And I will give you one cue at about, say 15 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. All right. And everybody needs to unmute.
Yeah, Sophie.
Kosi.
I've got construction in the background, so I'm trying to.
No worries. I don't hear anything.
Oh, perfect.
I like your background there. What is that on the wall? That's beautiful.
Oh, that's a tapestry for my friend.
Oh, that's very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. B's got a decorative ladder in the back.
I like that. That's very good. Other side. Other side. There you go. There you go.
There we go.
I like that. Decorative ladder. Okay. As
there's
opposed to a
Justin.
functional ladder, which means if it's decorative, do not climb it.
Let's grab you a chair really quickly.
There's one
There she
person whose video is not on yet. Kosi, is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
And is Kosi not going to turn her video on or his?
Yeah, I can turn my video on. Hi.
Okay, you might want to re-angle your camera too. You have a very nice forehead.
There you go.
All right.
Anissa, make sure you go around and check in, yeah? Perfect. Have you checked in here?
So is everybody here, Elizabeth?
I think so.
Then
So
let's-
Kosi, where are you?
I'm sorry?
Where?
Oh, I was just looking to see if Kosi's on video and Justin.
Yes, they're
Yeah.
all there. They appear to all be there. All right. Give me the word and we'll go.
Okay.
I guess the word has been given. Just give the word, Captain. The word is given. Ha 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 ha. Stand by, Ian. 3, 2, 1. You are live.
Hello, 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 Santa Barbara, it's your enchantress of everything valuable and beautiful, Elizabeth Stewart. And my question, and when I was talking with Richard last night, I said, I'm bringing on Santa Barbara High School drama team because they are doing a production of the Iliad, the Odyssey, and all of Greek mythology in 99 minutes or less. Okay, this is an interest, and I looked up the play, and it's pretty funny.
And then,
And
of course, Elizabeth, I asked you if they're going to do War and Peace in 15 minutes.
That will be the next performance,
Excellent.
Yes,
right?
I have that
So-
plan next year already. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah. So I have with us the director, actually, of the drama endeavor, and this is Justin Baldridge. And you know, it's so interesting. Last night I was reading his bio. I was like, wow, we have such quality in this guy. He was in New York for years, working as a director and music director, teaching artist and acting coach. He developed new works off-Broadway, off-Broadway, and in festival productions. And then he came actually to Santa Barbara High School, not before he taught theater in Southern California for 10 years. And then he was actually working as Borough College of Manhattan, a guest lecturer on the directing process. So the kids that he's directing have, you know, the fruits of this many, many years. He's a guest artist every year at Florida State Thespian Festival. He's worked with all kinds of Tony winners. He directs for local and youth theater companies. He works at, and actually before he came, he worked at elementary school in Queens and Brooklyn's with the organization called Together and Dance. He's coached students all over the East Coast. And then, you know, he he actually comes from the same university as my sister, who is a SAG Equity actress in New York, Roosevelt. And so Justin is here. And then we have the opportunity to speak to a couple young performers. Kosi Arthurs is here, and she plays a plethora, another Greek word, of roles in this particular play. She plays Athena, Pandora, Hercules, Theseus, Penelope, and we have we have Emerson here, who plays Odysseus, Apollo, Hector, Prometheus, etc. And who else is here?
We have Sophie and we have Bridget.
Okay, Sophie is here. I just don't see her on the video. Sophie plays Demeter Paris. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Patroklos?
Patroklos.
Patroklos. Okay, there we are. There's Sophie. And Bridget is here. Bridget is a junior, and she's played in every part, in every theater production at school since her freshman year, which is really interesting. She's a real drama queen. to say the least. She's grateful to have the opportunity to pursue the arts during her high school years. She writes, wow, this is such an interesting thing, Bridget, because if I wasn't in drama and dance and music in my high school, I mean, you know, I failed science and math and all that, but I was okay in the rest of it. As long as I was on we called it the M Hall, the music hall. As I was part of the M Hall team, I actually managed to graduate. So I want to start the interview. Justin, what's it like working with this crew?
We are having so much fun,
Oh,
especially this week in rehearsal. Something happened this week where everything clicked and they started to let loose and started to joke more, and their characterizations really started to lock into place. And so it's just that moment in a show where they're finally understanding the comedy and they're picking up on it and they're running with it. So we have had a great time with it, and it's nice to see their growth as actors, because most of them have never taken on this endeavor of playing, you know, 10 to 15 roles in one show and trying to make them all different. And at one point they were like, I don't know what to do. I'm running out of ideas. I go, well, you got to figure out something. And they just keep processing, because I'm all about the process as a director. The end result will happen. So to watch them work through the process is really exciting.
so a question for Emerson.
Yes.
So Emerson, you know, like I said, I was coming up in high school in drama and then in college as well. And, you know, there was this magical moment. So your director is talking about that moment when things start to come together. And I can remember I was in a number of professional ballet companies until I was about 33. And every performance, we would just wait for that moment. And it was an incredible experience because, you know, all of a sudden, boom, everything changed. And what was that moment for you?
Well, I think particularly in this show, that moment came on really strong because, you know, this is the first show we've been able to do during the pandemic. We've all been at our homes. Finally, just, you know, like a month or so ago, we were able to come to campus following all these safety procedures. But to finally be together again really created this magical energy. And then I think it took us some time to fully click back into, oh yeah, this is theater. This is the thing that we love to do. And we're so glad to be here. But then once we found that, I think it all just came together and we all really started playing off of each other and just feeling the energy of this show.
Well, so well put, you know, that does happen. And yeah, it must be accentuated because you guys haven't been able to be on the boards. And it's so interesting, Justin, it's so fascinating. You know, I was talking with a number of professionals from New York that were connected to Santa Barbara in New York theater. And they said, well, you know, we know theater is going to come back. We know theater in New York will come back stronger than ever. And I said, I think so too, but why? And the response was because it's been around for about 8,000 years as an art form. You can't plus. So you can't just say, okay, one year and it's gone. Kosi, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so Kosi, you play Athena. So, you know, this is the goddess of reason and also war. So how do you portray Athena?
I portray Athena as a really unfeminine, sort of very warlike character, and it's been fun being there's a part in the beginning of the show where I get introduced and we have this talk show, and I it's really fun to get like interviewed.
So now, okay, you switch from Athena and now you're playing Hercules.
Yes.
So yeah, so tell me what that transition is about. What do you do mentally?
Athena is a woman, and she is, like I said, warlike and very firm and like strong in stature. And Hercules is a meathead, and he's very he's very dumb and kind of surfer dude-esque. and very, very different roles. And also I play Hercules as a man. So.
Okay, then Penelope, so Odysseus's wife.
Penelope, I've been playing as kind of an ingenue type woman, but more an airhead to make her seem a little more interesting, because a boring like character in this show is not typical. They all have a little bit of flavor.
So that's fantastic. What a cross section. And Bridget, the same question for you. So you play Hermes and then you play Poseidon. And to me, it's like, well, Hermes, the light-footed carrier of messages, and then Poseidon, the king of the deep. So can you contrast those for me, Bridget? How do you get your head around those two characters?
So I'm still trying to play them both as like spunky and fun parts, but Poseidon, I definitely am trying to do more of like a surfer dude type of vibe.
Kidding.
Yeah, well, it makes sense, but I think sometimes, he's a very strong god, he controls the sea, but I wanted to do like a relaxed vibe for him. But then for Hermes, I wanted it to sort of just be like someone fun that likes to party and like talk to everyone, knows everything that's going on, checking in on everyone. And I'd say I distinguish those characters pretty well. Like they definitely don't seem similar to me. But I think Poseidon has been a little bit hard for me because I'm definitely not like a surfer girl or talk like that at all. So that's actually been a good little acting challenge for me to just like not worry as much about what people think and just go for it. And like it's just supposed to be fun and like it's funny. It's not supposed to be serious. And I think that's been a good challenge.
So another question for you. You've been in every show that the school has done since your freshman year. Can I dare to ask what your favorite show has been, or maybe it's now?
I'd say, well, this is like, it was exciting when I was actually in 6th grade. My brothers both went to school here, and I was asked to just like be in one number of their production. And that was honestly really, really fun, just being like a little 6th grader with all the high school kids. And I was looking up to them, and I was so excited to come to school here. So obviously that wasn't like my favorite production per se, but it was definitely an exciting moment that got me very excited for high school. But I'd say Matilda, I was very fortunate to play the lead my freshman year. And that was a really, really exciting experience. And I got to really bond with like my cast, and it was a great experience.
And fun. I understand that you were Santa Barbara Teen Star finalist as a sophomore.
Yes, I was. And that was right before the pandemic. So like, that's something I've been forever grateful for. It was just like maybe 3 weeks before lockdown. And I just always remember how wonderful that was and how grateful I am that I got to perform for so many people just a few weeks before this happened.
Oh, that's kind of bittersweet.
Yeah, but it was a wonderful experience.
And Sophie, a question for you, the same kind of question. So Demeter and Paris, can you contrast your roles there?
I think Richard's given you a peace sign.
Oh yeah, that seemed we have to go to quick break. So hey, Richard, let's go to quick break. When we get back from the break, Sophie's going to answer this question, how she contrasts two Greek gods. And then I want to ask Justin something important when we get back from the break. Justin Baldridge is the director. Comes to us with a lot of street cred in the theater world, and I wanted to ask Justin, what his take is on the importance of mythology, actually, and using theater as a teaching tool to understand Greek mythology. I mean, that's the sort of bigger subtext, I think, to the play. So let's go to quick break. Don't turn that down. Back in a moment. And just a shout out about this. This is the Iliad, the Odyssey, and all of Greek mythology in 99 minutes or less. I have the honor of speaking with the director and the cast. Santa Barbara High School, and actually April 8th, 9th, 10th, 15th, 16th at 7 p.m. and April 17th at 3 p.m. And we'll tell you how to get tickets in a minute. Don't turn that dial, back in a sec. Welcome back. It's Elizabeth Stewart, and I'm talking with the cast and the director of the Iliad, the Odyssey, and all of Greek mythology in 99 minutes or less. This is a production at Santa Barbara High School. What intrigued me about this, and I chased down Justin so I could talk with the cast and director, that this has all been happening during the pandemic. And as Emerson was saying, just this week, we had the opportunity to be on the boards with his fellow actors. And we were talking with Sophie before the break. Sophie plays a number of characters in the play, and I was asking her to contrast Demeter and Paris. Everybody in the show that I'm talking to today plays many different characters, and I wondered how she gets her head around such two such different characters.
Well, it's funny. I love that Paris is the character who's getting brought up because he's probably the one of the bigger roles that I have the most trouble with. Demeter kind of came easier for me because it's like this very, it's this very dramatized version. So we kind of played it as Mr. B and I found princess versus the villain in princess movies. So it starts off with, I guess, spoiler alert, the story of Demeter and Persephone. And, it's this great, mourning mother who's lost her daughter. And of course, we, nothing gets too sad in this play because it's a comedy. And we have, I start off as this, oh, I'm this princess who like grows all this land. And like, I do so much to like in a heartbeat, like Maleficent, Ursula, just so angry, and that's been really, really fun. And it's like almost like each time we rehearse, it's like, how can you play that up more? And I'm like, more? And so that's been a lot of that. And then for Paris, it took a bit of time because, I mean, no offense to Paris, I guess, but I feel like he's written so, they did what they could, and he's more interesting in this than he is in the Iliad, I'll say that. But we've kind of found this way to make him, because Emerson plays my brother in it, he plays Hector for part of the Iliad. And so we've kind of found this way to make it like, he's this little bit feminine dude, and he's a bit of a womanizer, and he started the Trojan War and over a girl that he doesn't even care that much about. And it's just kind of like, I focus a lot or more on like how I move my body and stuff to work with Paris and everything, because that was easier to portray than through the lines.
Well, I think that's magnificently said. And what I would like to zoom back to Justin Baldridge, the director, and ask him, now he's teaching Greek mythology through the theater, albeit it's a comedy. And I guess, what made you pick this play, and how do you use it as a pedagogical tool, Justin?
Yes. So I first saw this show back in around 2008, I believe, when one of my friends directed it at his high school over in Fullerton. And then I directed it at my last high school back in 2010. And when I was deciding on a show this year, I wanted to do a show that was nothing but comedy with no dramatic moments. We have enough drama in our life right now. I want everyone to laugh. And so this show came to mind because the casting is flexible. You don't need a certain number of guys or girls because everyone is cross-gendering in this show for the most part. So that wasn't an issue. And also I have a huge nerdy passion for Greek mythology. Since I was in the 6th grade and we learned about all the ancient civilizations, which is your 6th grade curriculum, I fell in love with all the Greek stuff. I mean, I geeked out on it. And then, of course, in high school, I took Latin for 4 years. And part of Latin curriculum was not just learning how to translate. So we had to translate 4 books of the Aeneid by Virgil. But then we also had to learn all the mythology again. Of course, the Roman names, but it's the same thing back and forth. So it just sort of reinforced my love for Greek mythology and Greek theater. I love all the ancient stuff. So then with this show, it allows students to connect and understand a mythology in more modern terms, to make it more relatable. That mythology is not this big scary thing, that it's actually comprehensible, because it's all really, and the students will tell you, it's all written in snippets. The show is just a series of short vignettes that go from 1 page to 3 pages, except for the Iliad. That's a whole other story. But most of it, most of it is all done within a couple pages per myth. And so it makes it digestible and real and really fun for the kids to understand it. And also to make the comedy more truthful, we've had to talk about, okay, here's how they're portrayed in the myth. Here's like the serious side. Now, how can we make that funny? So you sort of flip it on its head. And that's what Sophie was referring to with Paris. Paris is written very weak in the Iliad. He's written as like this guy who doesn't fight. He'd rather be lounging and eating his grapes. And
He'll still complain about it.
Exactly. And then when he has to fight, he's actually, oh, you're really not that good at fighting either. Oh my gosh, you're terrible. And we talked about that's why Orlando Bloom played him in the movie.
No.
Because, sorry, I'm doing it, Sophie.
Doesn't he live in this district? We don't want him to hear.
But Orlando Bloom has a softer look to him, which going back to what Sophie said, it's that more like softer feminine side, which contrasts Hector, who's the warrior and the manly. So we had to find that contrast and then make it extreme so that that's where the comedy comes from.
I see. And so a question again for Justin. So Justin, you know, in Greece, ancient Greece, everybody had their personal favorite, you know, going back to Greek history, everybody had, you know, if I was a matron in Greece, let's say 400 BC, something like this, I would have chosen as my favorite, and I would have prayed to Hestia. She is my absolute favorite. I love Hestia, and I love what Hestia stands for. So let's say Justin is kind of going through something a little difficult. Who's your favorite? Who would you pray to?
Oh my, wow. We just went there. I've never been asked. That's a good question. Oh, I may take the cop out right now.
Okay.
I think but I think because he's such a fun god and there's so many layers to him, and maybe because I teach it every year, Dionysus, the god of wine.
Yeah, and theater, by the way.
And theater, that's there it is too. Yeah, I think we'd go that route.
Elizabeth,
What?
Yeah, Sophie.
I was just gonna say, Elizabeth, if you like Hestia, maybe don't sit out Act 1.
Don't what?
If you like Hestia, you might want to sit out Act 1.
Okay. Richard, are you giving us a sign we have to go, or are we going to? Okay, let's go to quick break. When we get back, I want to ask Justin one last question about his experience and how this play rates. Don't turn that down.
I can give you 10 more minutes. You're already at about 22 minutes. So we almost have a full program, but it's up to you how you want to use it.
So does that mean if we ran this at the beginning of the hour on Friday, it would go from 10 to what, Richard?
Probably about 10:50. So, you know, maybe you'd probably still have about 5 minutes, 7 minutes to the end of the program.
Okay, so if we did like 15 minutes with the other guests coming on Friday, would you need to edit this, or how are you thinking?
I probably would. If you want this to fit into, say, a 30-minute sequence, and this would be the first 3 segments.
Yeah, ideally 40.
To 240?
Yeah, 40.
I can do that. I will make it so that it will fit to 40, and then we'll go to break at 42, and then I'll time out. Okay, so I can do that. Okay.
Okay. So,
all right, here we
go.
go.
Okay.
And yeah, you have 10 minutes. I might let you go 11, but then I'm going to have to wrap up, and I will need Zoom because I have a live show using Zoom. Here we go.
Right.
In 3, 2, 1, you're live.
Welcome back. It's Elizabeth Stewart, and I'm talking with the director and the cast, partial cast of the Iliad, the Odyssey, and all of Greek mythology in 99 minutes or less. And I looked up the author, Jay Hopkins and John Hunter. It's fantastic. I read this section, Justin, where, of course, we're talking about Penelope, and she's talking about the fact that those people really were pigs. You know, it's not just a myth. I mean, the people that raided her house did get turned into pigs, and we learned that Justin's personal god is Dionysus. And Emerson, who's yours?
Oh, that is a good question. My first instinct is to say Athena, because I tend to try to solve problems with intellect. But if we're being honest, I feel like I might have to go with like a Hermes type figure.
Uh-huh. What about you, Sophie?
Stole my answer. Well, I mean, Mr. Baldridge got lucky. A lot of us are pretty big Greek nerds ourselves. And growing up, I would read, like fiction about it in literature. And I'm always that person who's like, how could I find my way in this world and look for smaller things? So I actually really liked Iris growing up, the female messenger who I play in this, which I was really excited about, low-key. And I probably her, just a little easy way into that world.
We're just a team of messengers.
Yeah, well,
dynamic duo.
In essence, that's what an actor is, right? A messenger, especially in these times, right here in this pandemic. I mean, you guys are messengers of the hope to come that we actually can congregate again. So I like the fact that Emerson and Sophie have chosen messenger gods as their personal. I really like that. Hey, Justin Baldridge is the director, and like I said, the amazing background that he has had. And we're so happy to have him in the community doing such wonderful work. This play, how does it measure up? Because after all, you've had to pull this together in a worldwide plague. So you've pulled a piece of art together in a plague. How do you feel about that?
I actually feel extremely proud of what we've done so far. One of the reasons I chose a play and not a musical is the musical has so many restrictions with it when it comes to singing, and the spacing's even more. I mean, the musical restrictions are crazy. And I knew back in November when I was choosing a show, we knew it was changing from day to day. And I was like, in April, I don't know where we're going to be with it. So let's just do a play, because plays, we can work a play. Like, that's easier. And I feel like it was a smart choice for everyone involved, because the actors are getting a pretty normal experience, I feel like, where the rehearsal process is pretty standard. The only thing we have to be aware of is social distancing. And there's scenes where, of course, people will have to kiss or grab each other. We can't do that now. So we're trying to go, okay, guys, we can't really do the fake kiss. How are we going to do it? And the actors are having to come up with ideas. What?
How do you do it? How do you do a kiss or an embrace?
So one of the things we had with, so for instance, with Paris, this came up, I think 2 days ago in rehearsal. Sophie had a great idea, and it was so fun, because I'm going, okay, how can Paris grab Helen and go off stage? Because we can't touch each other. And she goes, what if I had like a shepherd hook? And like I hooked her.
I am a shepherd. They say it too. They say it in the script.
Yes. And I went, that's a great idea. So I was like, okay, Helen, Elizabeth, our actress, you've got to put your arm on your hip when you say the end. And that's the spot where she's going to hook you. And then you can drag her off. And then our Hades, when he has to steal Persephone, he has a fake lasso and he pulls her. So we had to come up with fun, silly, ridiculous ways to make it read still.
Justin, I wanted to say that Richard and I've been doing this series on artists and the artist's impact upon the pandemic since March 11th of last year. And every Friday we get together with artists and talk about the pandemic and how the effect of the pandemic has influenced their craft. And one of the quotes that I'll never forget kind of made me cry, actually, we were talking about problems in performance, actually. And he mentioned that he was part of a think tank, community problem solving. And I said, okay, so you're an actor, but you're sitting with, you know, politicians and council members regarding community problem solving. And this was, by the way, around public music and busking and this sort of thing. And I said, so what qualifies you? And he said, because I'm an artist, because I'm an actor. I said, okay, so I'm not getting the connection. He said, in essence, at the bottom of what we do, we are professional problem solvers. That's what an actor is. More or less problem solvers. And so that's why I'm working with government. It was quite amazing for me to understand that. So it sounds like Justin Baldridge has done his fair share of problem solving, like he's talking about the kids, you know, the actors can't touch, they can't kiss, they can't embrace, but they can figure out a way to make those connections across the board. Richard, do we have to